Hello. Welcome everyone to the next installment of our ASMR Minecraft long play series. I hope you are doing very well. I wanted to work on the garden today, but as you can see, it's quite rainy, quite windy, and though we can't feel that through the screen, most likely very, very cold outside as well. So instead, I decided to stay inside and make our living space as cozy as humanly possible. We're going to add a lot of items and remodel some things here. Down in the basement, in the living room, in the kitchen. Upstairs in the bedroom, on the balcony, and even a couple of things outside. Before we get to that though, I would have liked to ask you a question. Since not everyone might watch this video until the end or halfway when I usually ask such questions. Maybe they fall asleep, maybe they have something to do, but let me ask you now, what kind of content would you really like to see on this channel? I've had some suggestions already. I listed a couple of games that I found that would be, in my opinion, very fitting and relaxing, smooth, quiet and calm experience for all of us. In that video, someone commented that the game Islanders, which is about building tiny colonies on tiny islands, without too much detail, without too much sophistication, just simplicity and atmosphere. Someone mentioned this game would be quite fitting and they'd like to see it. There was another comment on another video, I believe, where someone suggested I do traditional ASMR videos, in the sense that I just try to generate some relaxing sounds. Something like tapping, or smoother sort of stroking sounds. I hope you can hear some of these samples, or even something like this, sort of crinkly sounds with tin foil, maybe paper and such materials. So if you've got any lovely suggestion like that, or just agree with what has been said before, please let me know. Our goal here is to relax, but there's no reason not to involve as many people, of course, consenting people, in our relaxation videos, relaxation sessions, as many as possible. I'm very glad if I can help them find a quiet moment, and I'm sure they'd be glad too. So thank you very much for leaving such suggestions in the comments. I wanted to mention about the rain. Perhaps it's not very relaxing to be outside when there's a great storm slashing and thundering and rolling over the entire land. But I find that rain is very, very relaxing in a way that touches all our senses. If you think about it, perhaps with the one exception being taste. Even if water can taste very nice, I wouldn't say it's a relaxing taste. I'm not really sure what would be a relaxing taste, but the sight of rain, I think it's quite a meditative experience in and of itself. When it rains, I often find myself just staring out the window if I'm inside, or even if I'm outside, just looking up or looking against a sort of darker background where I can see the raindrops, and just stopping and appreciating it. A little bit like the special moments we do in these videos as well. It's interesting to see the different speeds of the raindrops if you focus far away, intentionally of course, or maybe not just intentionally, but if you focus your sight on a distant point, the rain seems to slow down. And if you try to look very close to you, try to reduce that focal distance, then the raindrops suddenly speed up, strangely enough. Have you ever noticed that? I think it's very interesting. Or if you're in a car or just next to a window, watching the raindrops race down the glass is also very nice and relaxing. Then of course we have the sound of the rain. I can imagine very few sounds that are more relaxing than the gentle tapping of raindrops on maybe a glass roof or any material really. But usually glass or metal or plastic makes a bit more sound. So it's easier to hear that. One great heartache of mine when I moved away from home was that I couldn't hear the rain anymore. Well, fortunately, we still have the smell of the rain. Perhaps I would first call it refreshing and only then relaxing, but maybe those are not opposites or mutually exclusive traits of a thing. It's of course refreshing because that is what rain does, I believe. We just associate refreshment with the moments after rain. The earth refreshes. The plants can finally get some nutrition. And I think we can just connect to that sensation. Nothing spiritual, but just being in the moment there. But at the same time, there is, I think, a little bit of relaxation in that refreshment. It's the tranquility of knowing that things will go on. There's always new momentum there's always more happening, always more things for us to do, but also more energy in us to do those things. Sometimes we need that little rest, that or maybe not rest, but refreshment that the rain gives us to keep doing all those things, but we can always just keep doing those things. Well, let's not get too philosophical right off the start. We also have the touch of rain, and of course it can be a little bit, well, very much the opposite of relaxing when it's cold and it's being blown into your face by the wind. That's not very relaxing, but maybe a gentle drizzle in the summer when it's very hot, scorching heat, and nature just decides to give you a little break from that by watering the land with some rain. As you can see by the way we are in a very much organized manner, we are just collecting some items here that we're going to use when doing more decoration. While I'm doing that, in this video we won't get too profound in our topic. I will just describe some of the mods that we use and the resource packs for this version of Minecraft, so that if you're interested in playing a very relaxing experience where you really don't have anything to really worry about, no challenges, just you and your imagination to create something cute and homely. If you're interested in that, let me describe some of those mods for you. As with the Hungarian version of this video, I will use what I learned in the drawing video, and I will just tape the microphone to my face. As funny as that might sound, it's quite practical, and that will free up my hands. And I will make a little list of links and the mods that I will paste into the video's description. That will let you find the mods easily, obviously, but it's also going to give you some mouse clicking and keyboard sounds, which I think can be quite an asset for ASMR. I hope you like it. Okay, I just used some magic to turn the 10 minutes I spent messing around to properly tape the microphone to my face. I just used some magic to turn those 10 minutes into a couple of seconds for you, and that magic is called video editing. So I hope you can hear the sound of the mouse and the keyboard. I'm going to just make a list here with all the links that I would like to show you in the description of the video. But let me just find Minecraft folder first. Let's see here. I believe I have it right here. So I won't won't describe every mod here, but I'm going to add everything to the description. As you might guess, there are some so-called library mods or API mods that only serve to make other mods function better or just work at all. We don't really care about the different variables and data and whatnot that they add to the game, at least not here. So I'll just focus on the stuff that you can actually notice when you are playing and how it can help you be more relaxed. So first, I would like to start with the resource packs that we use. And of course the basic resource pack is called Mizuno's 60. Now, as far as I know, this is made by a Japanese lady. Maybe more than one person, but it's the to-go resource pack for a lot of cute and homely Minecraft builds and Minecraft versions. You can find that at mizunocmcmemo.blogspot.com. And now there are some more resource packs. Oh, forgive me. So, the Mizuno's resource pack is made up of 3 parts, which are actually 3 packs that you add to your game. They are all available on the same website though, so no need to scour the internet for it forever. The first one are the base textures that you can see right now in the game. They are of course of 16x16 resolution. The next one is just a very simple resource pack that makes item frames invisible. Now, this is great because of course the next resource pack, which is still part of the Mizuno trio, relies on the CIT items, these renamed items that receive a different appearance. And they must be placed in an item frame to function properly. Now, if the item frame is not invisible, it can look pretty stupid. What's such a negative word for such a small thing? Let me just say silly instead. Nonetheless, the third pack in the Mizuno's trio is just the CIT items, and there's a whole lot of them. For this resource pack and everything else that I will share with you, you always have a catalog on their websites that tell you how to use these CIT items and what kind of items you can make. I will also describe or list a couple of the features of each resource pack. So the next one, that is like an add-on to Mizuno's, as are the others. They just add more CIT decoration items. They don't really change any other textures within the game. The next one is called Handcrafted, which I suppose is the combination of Hannah, must be a lady, and banana, well, must be a fruit. Must be an interesting creature overall if their name describes them very accurately. So, you can find the Handcrafted resource pack. Let me open up the browser. And this website, which is, it has a strange address, but you will be able to just click on it and open it from the description. Now, this person has very thoughtfully given us a complete explanation and list of items that they've made possible within the game, within Google Slides. This one adds a lot of furniture, including furniture faces like drawers that you can place on just about anything to make it look like it's actually a wardrobe or a chest of drawers or something. It adds some paths and flooring. Adds quite a few pieces of furniture that you can make in a variety of different colors. Adds some more sort of household accessories, clothes, like a clothesline with dry clothes hanging on it, some coat hangers, some kitchen appliances, telephones, old TVs, radios, lovely sort of grandparents' house mood or atmosphere, things like that. And of course, what can never be missing from a CIT pack are some plants. My favorite is the wisteria leaves, these long, almost like a waterfall, purple, very rich and dense flowers. They are so absolutely beautiful. I just finished before recording this voiceover replanting quite a few plants on my little window. Let me just look this up. Windowsill, of course. How could I have forgotten? So for the windowsill, and for this outside corridor that I have in front of the apartment, this district of the city also has a program where they just give away flowers. Can you believe that? I was there this morning and I was like, please, give me as many as possible. Well, 6 was possible, but they gave me that. And they are now sitting very nicely, comfortably and watered in some pots and boxes. Let's see. The next CIT add-on pack is called Mayflowers. That's spelled M-A-E, so not May as the month. And let me check the catalog for you. So there's quite a few furniture pieces in this one as well, in a variety of different materials, mostly wood, but very nice detail. There's a very seriously good looking oven and furnace, and some more household larger appliances or furniture that I would like to put in, such as fridges, sinks, bathtubs, toilets, and a couple of miscellaneous items. A notebook. Oh, we will have to add that notebook to our well. And some carpets, hanging towels, curtains and such. You can find this at mayflowersmc.mixsite.com, but of course it will be pasted along with the rest. And there's one final, very beautiful pack. Oh goodness, no, there's two. I've almost forgotten one. This one is called Moondrop, and it's a very nicely detailed bag. Still 16 times resolution, but a very nicely detailed bag of mostly food and kitchen related baking items. Then we have erstwhile CIT. I don't know if you know this, but erstwhile actually means long ago or formerly. I don't often learn very new words in English since I use English quite often and I know quite a few words, but this one I didn't. I love what a nostalgic feeling this name adds to the pack. It includes, let's see, once again some drawer faces, some flower jars, flower beds, flower barrels, some things you can place on the wall, such as pictures and posters, along with frames to go with them. Also some lanterns and different light sources. That's about it. It also has a slightly Eastern, mostly I would say Japanese, aesthetic to some of the items. That's about the resource packs we are using, but keep in mind that this is our current state of the Minecraft version. I am often looking for new ways to improve our experience together, so if I find something else, it might be added to the game later on. Let me continue and describe some of the mods that make these ASMR videos possible. I will actually refer to the description of the Hungarian video because there I collected everything in a sort of... Oh goodness, we've gotten 2 subscribers and 2 comments. That is such a lovely feeling. Ah, my day is made. Anyway, let me just refer to the description of the previous video, because there I've collected everything categorically in a sort of logical manner, listing together what the mods that add similar things to the game. So the first one is called Ambient Sounds. These are all, by the way, for the Foliage base mod system in Minecraft, and some of them also rely on the Optifine base mod. I have to mention as well that for the CIT decorations you will also need Optifine. Then again, Optifine is such a basic improvement that it strengthens so many graphical aspects of the game that you really should be using it in the first place. Of course, who am I to tell you that? But I'm just saying I very much wholeheartedly recommend it. So Ambient Sounds adds some sounds to the game, as you might expect. Many of them are from nature, so the thunder, the rain, a lot of birds chirping is the responsibility of this mod. It works very well in tandem with the next sound mod, which is called Auditory. Auditory mostly improves the sort of footstep sounds, block breaking sounds, and some more actively triggered sound effects rather than the ambient ones. Then we've got quite a few mods that enhance this beautiful nature in the game. We have better animals and Naturalist. Let me give you some keyboard sounds for you. Let me give some keyboard sounds. So that I can look up some of these mods I just described, what they add to the game, and of course, so that you can listen to the keyboard sounds as well. But animals adds a lot of animals, as you might expect, and I mean a lot of them. And Naturalist adds not as many, but quite detailed and sophisticated, quite detailed and sophisticated animals, I really could say. They will have unique mechanics, such as elephants will do mud baths, and you can also find some rare items, as far as I remember, such as a golden egg. And we've got better foliage, which is just a basic overhaul of some of the tree leaves and also the grass blocks, so that they're not as just flat like a green carpet, but more like a bit more fuzzy. Dynamic trees, of course, as I've described this in another video, maybe several other videos, overhauls the growth system of the trees, the appearance of the trees, and the mechanic of how we cut them down. Then we've got a whole bunch of food pots, because nothing helps the homely aspect of a home as much as nicely prepared homemade food. We've got Croptopia with a whole lot of new plants and, well, crops in the game, of course. We've got Farmer's Delight, which is a base mod adding a couple of new plants and, more importantly, some new mechanics, such as the cooking pot or the frying pan. It's called skillet officially, but you know what I mean. And also the cutting board, of course, which is not just for cooking. But, well, if you start playing with this mod, you will come to see. Then we've got two add-on mods for Farmer's Delight that just expand on the content of the original mod, making more foods and recipes available. And these are Collector's Reap. As far as I know, this is for stuff you can find in the wild, in the wilderness. And you've got delightful, which adds, for instance, the salmon berries that we've already found, and a couple of other recipes. One thing I will have to mention about this resource pack, by the way, as you can see, we're redoing the flooring of the basement because I found that these brick slabs, as nice as they are a bit monotone. So we're going to build double brick slabs, which have a special feature when used in Mizuno's resource pack. That is, if you place two slabs on each other, the overall texture of them will change, and we will get horizontally and vertically placed, so perpendicular to each other, individual bricks in the floor. We will see soon. I just heard this lightning strike coming quite close and wanted to check out if our little house is fine. Back to the mods. For structures that we might find in the wilderness, we have battle villages overhauling the village, as you might expect. I believe that snowy sort of village of huts that we've been to in another episode was already enhanced by this one. And we got Towns and Towers, which is not just a village mod, it adds a couple of other structures to the game, but it also does work a little bit on other villages, existing ones within the game. And we've got some furniture mods and mods that add a lot of items to, well, yes, the household aspect. We have Handcrafted, which adds very nice couches, chairs, tables, and sheets and cushions which you can use to customize existing furniture, and a couple of food-related items as well. Oh yes, also some trophies of the different mobs you might find in the game, as well as, if I remember correctly, some fancy-looking paintings. If I can't finish the mod list, by the way, don't you worry. Everything is going to be in the video description. But at the same time, I'd like to describe some of the decorations we're going to use here. As you can see, we are beginning to cheat now, and we're going to rename a lot of these items so that they look nice. Continuing with the home improvement mods, we have fairy lights, adding a lot of lights to the game, of course. Light strings, garlands, lanterns, like floating paper lanterns. We have Macaw's mods, which is Macaw's furniture, windows, and paths and pavings. Quite self-explanatory, but very nice and extensive mod, adding these furnitures in a lot of customizable variants. It does overlap a little bit with Handcrafted, but not to the point that it would be confusing. And we've got some visual graphic mods. We have fancy block particles, which adds 3D particles to block breaking, I believe the weather as well. And we have immersive effects, which also improves, like, for instance, vapor at the bottom of waterfalls, or steam jets when water and lava meet. Quite well noticed little situations that they found and decided to improve in this mod. We of course have serene seasons, which very simply adds things to Minecraft and a trait to every plant, describing when they can grow and when they cannot. Except of course if we build a greenhouse, which we're going to. Then we have chunk animator and better animations collection. Chunk animator obviously makes the some chunks, these small parts of the Minecraft world, float up instead of just appear out of nowhere, which is a bit more stylized appearance, but I think it does help with the smoothness of the game experience, the immersion, I would say. We also have, of course, better animations collection, which improves upon the animations of mobs and villagers as well. One more I would like to mention is Naturalist. Now, Naturalist is a world generation mod, which means it changes how the world is formed at the beginning of the game. Naturalist, maybe not the most realistic of the world generation mods. Maybe there's a side of fantasy to it, but that's not a problem. It can generate some beautiful and epic landscapes, volcanoes and such. And of course, as you can see, very nice mountainous forested areas too. It can be very grateful to this mod, or the authors thereof. Let's see what else I can share with you. I would say that's about it. It's a good idea to also link Minecraft Forge, the base system for these mods, in the description of the video. Let me just do that now. There we go. That's better. Now the Hungarian viewers will know everything they need. And of course the English-speaking ones too. I'm sorry, I just changed the Hungarian description. That's why I said it this way. But I'm going to add it, of course, to this video as well. I wonder how many people who speak English and watch these videos are actually Hungarian. Perhaps it's less likely that non-native Hungarians are watching those videos, but oh, that's interesting. Oh, you can do like old school YouTube and say, "Hey, greetings from wherever, your country. Greetings from the US or Canada or any other country, China, Finland, Nicaragua, whatever." I don't want to exclude anyone, but I might not list all the countries of the world right here. It rained for so long in this video that after I finished recording I checked if maybe I'd said something wrong. And maybe I've made a command in the game that messed up the weather, but everything was fine. It just decided to rain this long. Not that I really mind though. Nonetheless, as you can see, we are getting close to finishing all the items, the CIT items that we wanted to add to the build, the house build. And I've organized it very, very neatly so that I don't forget anything, or I don't forget which object goes where. I hope you are proud of me. I am proud of myself. So we are going to begin with the basement here, the cellar. These terracotta pots, they are from the Handcrafted mod. They are not actually CIT items. I don't know if they can hold anything, but let's see. First we're going to add the bucket, since there's some glass jars there, flasks anyway. Then we're going to add this wooden log and saw combo on top of the crafting table, to show that of course there's work being done over here. Then, as if it's fallen off of the pile of firewood, this little stick with a very cute green leaf on it. The pots are going to go right there. Maybe we are aging some sort of food or drink in there, fermenting something. Maybe there's some seeds in them. If we ever build like a granary or granary, I'm not certain about the emphasis, but if you ever build such a building, we can add a lot of these jars in there. Unfortunately, they don't drop themselves as an item when we break them, so we'll have to be careful not to waste anymore. Of course, there's a couple of other things for the basement. As if we were drying some of these glow berries that we found downstairs, down in the caves. We are going to hang them up a little bit close to the furnaces, so that they're drying nicely. We're making some dried berries there. They're going to be amazing in maybe an oatmeal or something. Of course, some plant decoration. We cannot miss them. It's never enough for plant decorations. And this little emergency lantern that might come in handy if we go outside in the weather that is storming over the woods right now. Although I hope we don't have to. We can just snuggle in the bed. Now, up here on the ground floor, we're going to move this table and make it a bit nicer. As you can see here, actually, these item frames and whatever's in them, they stay in place for a couple of moments before they drop if we break the block that's underneath them. So, you might have already known this, but if you add another block there quickly enough, they will stay in place. Now this table with this yellow sheet is beautiful. I think yellow as the color scheme of the house is quite a good choice. We've been eating so many berries that it makes some sense to put them out there on the table in a little bowl or plate. Maybe it's like a woven type of bowl. Now if we open this window, we can put something here. If we close it, it's going to drop. But we're not going to close it. We're going to stay out there in the windowsill now. We've pulled in this window on the side. We've got plenty of light coming in from the two sides of the room. So now we can hang up that lovely painting of, or maybe a photo of a faraway town waiting for us to explore it in a future episode perhaps. Unfortunately, this pink tulip in this lovely wooden box fits on the bottom of the block onto which it's added with an item frame. It looks a little bit off, so we're going to find another home for them, the tulips. Now we're going to add this bench here, also courtesy of the Handcrafted mod. We'll close half the shutters and very importantly, some more plant decoration, of course. That can never be missed. Just like a couple of vines hanging from the ceiling. And these are made with oak saplings, I think. Also, I almost forgot these beautiful pressed leaves. See? That was an item frame flower up there, and we replaced the block soon enough for it not to break. So these pressed leaves we can hang on the wall above the bench if we just want something nice to look at. It's our little collection. Now, of course, there might be some situations where we need to craft some things. So let's keep things practical and add this crafting table here with a hammer and just a couple of planks on top. And of course, we can move, I believe, to the kitchen next. Just give past me some time to organize everything in these chests. We are not shooting an action movie here, as we know, so I might take my time here and there. I hope that's alright with you. So in the kitchen here, we're just going to add some cups, a small pot, and maybe like a spatula. And these papers on the wall, which I thought could be recipes. The kitchen's already small enough, so not a lot of other things fit there, but these do, and they look nice. Of course. Now it's time to go upstairs. Take a lot of this plant decoration and enhance and magicalize. Is that a word? Let's just say brighten up the bedroom and the balcony. Now, this is not from the Fairy Lights mod. This is just an item, but the lovely news is that we can add the light string here, which I think is an absolute essential if you want to make a room more homely, more wholesome. We're going to add a different painting here with these lovely, maybe drawn flowers, or maybe these are also pressed flowers. It's quite interesting how much decoration nature can provide us with, right? Or you could even say, oh, this is not decoration, this is just something from outside, but I challenge you to put some plants in your room and tell me they don't look good. I think they're the loveliest. Now, since we have another painting now, we're going to just finish that shelf underneath the cabinets because I thought it was a little empty, and that gap between the two shelves didn't look great. Now after I made the renaming, I accidentally still held onto the anvil, so I just threw that in the lake. I don't think an anvil can be recovered from a lake, so everyone can rest assured we're not cheating. Now that is beautiful. I'm very happy with it. And we can move on to the balcony. So when we expanded the house, we didn't completely finish this part. It just needs some fences so that it's perfectly safe. And we can lean on these dark oak posts and watch the sunrise, or maybe the moon in the night. Or maybe even the rain, as I told you, trying to focus to a distant point and to a nearer point. That table that used to be in the living room, or the ground floor rather, I think will make a nice addition to the balcony now. We don't really want to throw away any furniture, especially considering we've barely used them, so we're going to give them a new life here, a new purpose. Well, that's also very philosophical. We're talking about a table after all. Now, since we have these beautiful light strings, we don't need the lantern here, but when you're doing this, be careful not to end up like me and place your item frames to the appropriate surface, because some objects will need to be facing down, facing to the side, or facing up. That's going to be better indeed. I don't know where that fern is hanging, but that's absolutely wonderful with the two light strips there. It's dangerous, you know. We might make a home so absolutely comfortable that we might never want to leave it. And then what would happen to this series? Well, think we'll be fine. I think we can find just enough beauty in the outside world that it convinces us to go outside. As it is in real life as well, right? In the Hungarian video I mentioned a gentleman by the name of David Bull. Now I'm not quite certain where he's from, definitely English-speaking territory. But he lives in Japan now, and he has a business there of Japanese woodblock printmaking. It's essentially printing, but the printing proofs, I'm not quite certain if that's what they're called, but the elements that you smear with paint are carved out of wood by hand. I think it's quite a Japanese thing. Such an enormously laborious process. So much time poured into it. Such attention to detail. And, of course, if there's multiple layers within an image, that's multiple wooden blocks carved out. Not to say that, for instance, the monks in Europe who used to copy the codices before the invention of printing, or even after the invention of printing, because the original printing methods were also very tedious, not to mention they weren't diligent. But somehow this sort of mindset and this approach to work does remind me of Japan in a very positive way. Now, this David Bull has a video series called David's Choice, I believe, something like that, where he showcases some of his favorite woodblock prints. In one of these videos that are, by the way, great for ASMR, instead of showcasing 5 or 10 or 20 prints, he showcases just one and concentrates on finding enough interesting details in that one print to build an entire video on it. And of course there are enough details in the print. That's why I wanted to mention it. There are so many lovely details in very small things, but especially if we're talking about the outside world in general, I can reassure you that there's a lot of very nice details. I think we'll always find something beautiful or in any way attractive that can convince us to go outside. Speaking of outside, as you can see here, adding some vines. I believe this must be ivy to the side of our little house. And some traditional ones that can grow as well. After all, it's a cabin in the woods and we want it to be part of its environment. Not just standing there very proud and very clean, away from the forest. No, I'm not the woods, I'm a house. Well, yes, but after all we're always influenced by our environment, and if the environment has some nice things to teach us, some positive things, then it's not a problem that it exerts some effect over us. Being environmentally conscious is a pretty positive thing, I believe. So, if the woods are teaching our house how to be more green, we're all the happier for it. So right there I'm just thinking about where to put these beautiful barreled flowers. This is from the erstwhile Játékmenet, I think, and I've chosen them because they're nice and dense. There's quite a few flowers in there. We can build something similar with trapdoors, dirt blocks, and of course flowers on top, but they're not going to be as rich. So we're relying on this method instead. Now, the Mizuno spec adds something that's so absolutely cute, which is renaming a dandelion to a certain thing. Makes it look like a couple of small butterflies, and they're even animated. Now, they're on their sides here, so I'm going to find a better spot for them, but such a cute thing. Very nice. I hope you're not bored of decorating the house again and again, but as you can see there's so many options and so many new ways of making it look inviting and beautiful. If you'd like to, I can also do this off camera, and then actually that's a good idea. I can do a lot of this decoration off camera. Maybe in this world, maybe in another world, and another builds as well, and then just give you a tour type of video showcasing what I've built. I like that idea. If you're still watching, lovely viewer, please let me know if you liked it too. So just a tour, just a little walking tour of something I built without gathering resources, without anything else. Just showing you the details of what we have made. I originally wanted you to be part of this adventure totally, but it doesn't mean we cannot branch out into other types of videos. The adventure is the entire channel after all, isn't it? Including the drawing videos, including the traditional tapping sounds or similar things, if I get around to making such videos as well. That's our little adventure together. And I'm very happy I'm already sharing this with you. I can only hope more people join eventually. just to illuminate the corners of the house, so that it's always easy to find it, even in the darkness. I'm just going to put some fence posts on these larger logs and add some lanterns on the bottom of them. Yeah, they're beams rather than logs, right? One thing I'm not sure I understand is the fact that the plants aren't growing. So we'll have to find a way to make some bone meal in the composter and then try to use that on the plants to see if they grow, of course. That's going to be a project for the next video, I think. This one is nearing the end. But yes, the garden could definitely use some work. Yeah. Well, the house is done now. Looks very homely and inviting. These warm colors are quite a nice touch. You can see the light streams from down here as well, and little plumes of smoke from the chimney. This ground floor is full of plant decoration. Outside is full of plants, of course. The kitchen is practical with recipes, herbs, storage, utensils and such. There's plenty of room here and a nice aesthetic of simple, practical, but neat furniture. Lots of work-related items down here in the basement, some drying fruits. Still a decent amount of light, and the emergency lantern in case we ever need it. The bedroom is so homely we might never want to leave it. The light string and the pressed flowers, or maybe flower paintings, and all the utilities stored on the shelves. Once again outside, surrounded by beautiful flowers. Nourishing for the soul, isn't it? Thank you for being part of this video and this project with me today. Please like, subscribe and share this with your friends if you think they'd like it. Have a wonderful day, night or whatever it is where you are. Goodbye.